Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, I'm going to tell you what I think is good and bad in the Soulforge this week, what's worth crafting and what you should basically avoid. As well as that, I'll take a look at the weekly event troop and see what we think of that as well. Anyway, did you hear about the cross-eyed teacher who was just simply no good at her job? She had no control over her pupils. Anyway, the weekly event troop, Raksha Swabby. The spell is to deal either damage to the first enemy or give life to the first ally. And if Captain Saltclaw is on my team, create 9 blue gems. Now, I don't really like that spell much. I don't like the things that do one thing or the other. I prefer to know what's going to happen rather than kind of ifs or buts what might happen. It's just, yeah, you can't really plan things properly with that. And the second part of the spell is a bit strange too, but it must be there for a reason. And that's if Captain Saltclaw is on my team, create 9 blue gems. Raksha Swabby doesn't use blue, and neither does Captain Saltclaw. So this must be planned to use with Captain Saltclaw with a blue weapon or something. I don't know. But I haven't looked into it yet, but it's... because of the way that works, because you need Raksha Swabby on the team, obviously, and Captain Saltclaw to create those 9 blue. And whatever blue troop or weapon you're meant to use this with to benefit from those blue, this is almost a forced team. You already that's going to be 3 troops out of 4, sort of forced. So yeah, I don't like this very much right now. All rogues gain 2 life, gain 2 bonus gold on 4 or 5 gem matches, and start battles with 75% mana. Other traits, so there's that, but I don't think it's much cop. It's, yeah, I'm going to give it a pretty mediocre 3 out of 10. Forced to use Captain Saltclaw with it, who doesn't use blue. And then obviously you're going to have to have a blue mana using troop to benefit from the rest. So yeah, not much cop. Anyway, it's there. Take it up to Mythic level if you have enough glory, and this will give you another troop at level 20, which is going to aid your power level kingdoms in the long run. Into the Soulforge, let's take a look at the weapons first. First up is the Frost Sword. Deals damage to the first enemy and deal a triple damage if they use red mana. So, if you're against an all-red team, this can actually deal some significant damage. This is actually not too bad if you're against an all-red team. A lot of damage from that. But quite cheap to buy, so it's not essential. It's handy, if you like. Put it in the handy column of your weapons. It's not in the completely useless section. Captain's Cutlass. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by rogue allies, then create a mix of 6 blue and red for each rogue ally. So this uses brown and purple, but generates blue and red. So you would need those rogue allies to actually use blue and red mana to benefit from that gem coloured generation. And if you meet those requirements, then yeah, that can deal some okay damage as well as charge the rest of your team. Flintlock of Blackhawk. This is kind of one of the anti-Blackhawk weapons, if you like. Removes all blue gems with no effect. Uses brown, so that is obviously fine. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by the gems removed. And if the enemy is from Blackhawk, if the battle is in Blackhawk, deal double damage. So again, a very good weapon if you're against Blackhawk enemies or the battle is in Blackhawk. Otherwise, pretty collectible. Pirate's Signet. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by Blackhawk allies, similar to the other weapon this. Then create a mix of 6 blue and red for each Blackhawk ally. Uses brown and purple, so generates blue and red. So just make sure your other Blackhawk allies use blue and red, at least 2 of them. Otherwise, you're creating those colours for literally nothing. It's like pretty situational, but certainly has its place when you fulfill those requirements. Doomed Kris. Deals damage to the last enemy, that is a forced target. It's got pros and cons. The bad thing is you can't target an enemy. The good thing is if an enemy is stealthy, for example, then you're guaranteed to hit that last enemy. There is a way of hitting them if you want to actually specifically target someone in last place. Boosted by purple gems, and if they have a doom, deal double damage. So that's not going to happen very often. The enemy that's in last place is not always going to have a doom. And there's a 3% chance per tempering level to kill the enemy. This is not a great doomed weapon at all. It's not really worth that diamond cost. Pretty collectible, and save your diamonds for better stuff if you ask me. Rose's Pistol. Deal true damage to an enemy. If Bonnie Rose is on my team, gain 40 gold. So you need Bonnie Rose on your team to get that gold, and it deals true damage. Not fantastic, but true damage is good and can be effective. So more situational than anything though. And Ocean's Protector. Eliminate all armor from an enemy. Gain life equal to armor eliminated. Submerge all allies. So in effect, a little bit like Mang and weapons like that, where it strips away the armor first. Eliminates all armor, so no matter what the amount of armor they have, that is all taken away. Then you gain life equal to the armor eliminated. So that can be pretty powerful in the right situation. Then submerge all allies is also really handy against those teams that do damage to all those, like Queen Bees, Gobtruffle. That makes you safe from those enemies that do those sort of damage. So very good, and certainly very good against certain teams. And is that it? Yes, it is. On to the troops. Who we have first? Consort of Darkness, Mr. Matey boy there, who's been to some sort of weird sex convention. There's a, looks like magic +1 chance to slay an enemy, and if the enemy dies, create 12 skulls. Otherwise, eliminate 10 from all their skills. So, even at my level, that is a less than 50-50 chance. You don't want to be playing with 50-50 chances. You need to make that higher than that. There is a easy way to boost up magic in the game now on various troops, various ways to do that. And if you can get that boosted, then you give yourself that slay chance, a much better chance to happen. And then obviously you can get 2 deaths at the same time then, because you're going to slay an enemy as well as create a load of skulls. So can be good. Who's next? Champion of Arnu. Silence, stun and drain all mana from an enemy. Silence means they can't cast any spells, which is really good. Stun takes away all their traits until they recover. And drain all mana and deal a okay amount of damage to them. It's just a little bit small. And all enemies below them. So that part is important. You want to try and cast this on the highest level troop that you can. But sometimes you will obviously want to cast this on someone specifically to take away their mana. But do be aware that a lot of troops now are immune from mana drain, which can hinder this thing's ability. The traits are okay, particularly the middle one. Reduced damage from skulls by 60% is quite high, and that makes it quite tanky in first slot. Scardy. Freeze and mana burn the first 2 enemies. Knock them to last position. Summon Queen Mab. Trouble with this spell is now there are so many enemies that get immune to mana burn, and that makes the spell less significant. I like the fact that it switches the first 2 enemies around. That is actually really useful in many teams, and it has a summon, but this feels like it should be a legendary more than a mythic these days. There's legendaries that do a better spell than this, but it is what it is. This is the power creep in the game. The things move on slowly but surely, and Scardy is now no more than just okay, I think. Famine. Drain mana from all enemies and deal damage to an enemy boosted by the mana drained. That can be a decent amount of damage if you time it correctly, but yeah, it's okay. You can like single shot an enemy sometimes, but you do have to time it absolutely correctly. And the more mana the enemies get, so the closer they get to being charged, obviously more damage you're going to do, but basically you risk them getting charged fully if you don't time it exactly right, or just take 1 chance too many on giving an extra turn to the opponent to let them gain a bit more mana, just so you can steal it. Or drain it even. Not steal it, because that's different. Traits are just rubbish. All enemies lose 2 random skill points, recover 1 armor at the start of each turn. First enemy loses 3 skill points at the start of each turn. Yeah. Not very good, mate. Right, and just ever so quickly over these legendaries. Don't usually say craft legendaries because they turn up much more easily in chests than mythics do. Infernal King. I remember loving this troop, and I still think he's pretty cool now. Convert green to skulls and brown to red, then deal a decent amount of scatter damage. And a 25% chance to resurrect after death, which is about 80% if you're actually the AI. This thing does resurrect a lot when it's on the opposition, it seems. Skylar, Skylar, whatever your name is, deals damage to the last enemy. There's a 25% chance to kill them. Submerge all other allies. Create a Bone Storm on 4 or 5 gem matches is one of the reasons she's picked in many teams, especially those skull teams. Really, really useful for generating a load of skulls when you are using a skull team. Scylla. Divine Ishbala. One of the best troops in the game, legendary status, absolutely superb. All divine allies starts with 40% mana. Transforms red to skulls and green to yellow, and enchant 2 random allies. Really good troop, very good indeed. I like her a lot. Last, very popular on life and death teams. Charm an enemy. A charmed troop deals its attack as damage to the troops above and below it, and there's a 40% chance to transform them into a succubus or incubus. And that really annoying last trait, charm a random enemy when an ally dies, actually causes you to have a random death which you were unexpected when you when someone dies. It's like pretty good. I like her a lot. And that is it. So who gets my Mythic of the Week? Well, Famine's not very good. Skadi's a bit knackered now and a bit old. Champion of Anu does have its place, but even though it's not great, it's okay. But you can get that guaranteed death when you get that boosted right up, and maybe even 2 deaths, so it's okay. Is Mr. Sex Convention himself, the Consort of Darkness. A lame set of mythics this week, really. No kink shaming, please. Yeah, I've just seen that over there. So yeah, it does look like he's come from a sex convention. That is possibly the idea behind this troop's look. Anyway, Consort of Darkness gets my Mythic of the Week, even though the bunch we have to pick from is not very good. And I'll be back later on with another video today. Thanks for watching this one. Like and subscribe if you liked it. Bye for now.